Got another Tip Tuesday video for you guys today. Today we're going to teach you 3 tips I think will take your game to a brand new level. But first off, welcome back to the channel. This is A1 Blackjack, the channel where we teach you how to count cards fast. So if taking your game to a new level sounds good to you, buckle up because these 3 tips are going to be great, especially the third one has saved me so much time. I think you're going to like it. But first off, kind of a close second is this drill. You're going to need a double deck for it. And so if I take a double deck here, we'll give it a little bit of a shuffle. And what we're gonna do, you've probably done something similar to this, but there's kind of a twist here at the end, and that is that you are going to play out either 1 or 2, however many spots you want really, but you're gonna play it out like normal. All right, try to make all the correct decisions, keep the counts. Right now the count's at 0. I would hit this, right now you're at 19, you can stand, counts at 1. If I flip this over, dealer has 18, so you would have won, and the count is at 0. It's important to know all that, but the idea is that you're playing kind of the spot of the dealer. You're adding up the hand totals. You're also keeping track of the count, but the kicker, like I was saying, is that you're going to film yourself. All right, it is shown, obviously, that if you film yourself, you can easily catch all your mistakes. It's one thing to just sit here and, flip through hand after hand and hope that you are doing the right thing, right? But it's a whole nother thing to actually see it on film and know that you're doing the right thing. So as you watch back the film of you playing, maybe have out a notepad or something where you're keeping the count for every hand. Maybe you go through, watch it once, keep the count. The next time through, you're gonna make sure that you're playing basic strategy correctly. In this drill, you can kind of level up as you go. For example, maybe the first time you do just play basic strategy with 1 spot, all right, then you can add in another spot. Do the same thing. Maybe the next time through, you decide that you're gonna add betting to it. So there's gonna be like double downs and maybe some payouts and things that you need to keep track of as you are doing that, because you're playing the dealer, right? And also with the payouts, you're gonna still be keeping track of the count and all that stuff. If you need it even harder still, you can pump in music, you can use deviations. So there's a whole lot of different ways that you can make this drill harder. But if you're just starting out, you can also start out pretty easy with no chips and just kind of playing 1 spot, keeping the count and accurately playing like the dealer would, or dealing like the dealer would. All right, so like there, for example, I'd stand and you would lose because they have 18, all right? So just go through and play like that. All right, the second drill that you might want to try to level up your game is really to increase kind of the automation of your hand recognition speed. Okay, so again, you're gonna get that shuffle there. Again, you're going to use a double deck and you're gonna be playing with 2 spots. So maybe I'll be playing this spot and this spot here. All right, and in this one, what you're trying to do is just get through a double deck as fast as you can. And again, you're trying to just recognize what those different hands are against the dealer. So for example, I'll just play out a couple here. Again, I'm trying to go quick. So as you play, you're going to make the right decisions, right? Here we're gonna split. All right, nice. And there we're going to hit. And now I can stand. And then you play out the dealer, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12, 13, goodness, and 20, all right? Now, don't worry too much about the hands themselves. We're not paying out with this one. We're just gonna keep the chips off the table, but you're just gonna try to rack those up as fast as possible and then play the next 2 spots. Okay, so I'll do one more here for you. Make sure there's no blackjack, and yes, there is. All right, and so there you wouldn't have to make any decisions because the dealer had blackjack. So again, what I'm doing, I'll do it a little bit slower, is if I'm playing these 2 spots here, is after you deal, right away, you're trying to recognize what hand you have. So a 15 versus a 3, that's gonna be a stand. And you make a decision, and you try to make a split-second decision. Again, the idea is to increase the automation of this hand recognition. And you're trying to increase the speed of that. All right, what about a soft 17 versus dealer's 3? This is gonna be a double down. All right, and then you would play out the dealer's hand, 13 and 23. Again, don't worry about payouts. You're just trying to get through this as fast as possible. And then when you get down to the end, let's say we're down to the end here, and I know I can't deal out another round because it's 2 spots. There's what, 7 or 8 cards left, 7, I think. Then you hopefully have the count as well. All right, there's one thing, you can just play basic strategy through, but eventually you want to add in the count as you go, right? And then as you get back here, let's see, that's at 1. So the count when we ended should have been at a -1 because it always has to get back to 0. So I think that is a great drill. Again, if you want to check for mistakes, you can have maybe an AP friend help you out. You can film yourself again, but there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of, again, level this up and make it harder. You know, don't keep the count the first few times you try, and then do keep the count and get faster and faster with that as well. But again, that's a great drill to do. All right, and then the third way that you can level up is to get a membership from Blackjack Apprenticeship. I finally got my membership earlier this year, and it's made a huge difference in my game. Colin and his team have thought about everything. I started by watching the video course. There's so many good little tidbits that you can learn, maybe about these order of operations or kind of when and how to surrender. But as you can see, once you complete a lesson, it lets you pick up where you left off the next time. So it kind of saves your progress. One of my favorite features though is the training suite. They have drills for practicing the running count, practicing basic strategy, calculating the true count, as well as learning playing deviations. But my favorite is the test out. This is great to test your game and to see what you really know and what you don't know. It'll ask you for the count about every 5th round or so, as well as you have to not only play perfectly, but also bet perfectly and keep track of deviations. All right, if you make a mistake, it tells you so that you can learn from your mistakes. When you are done, it tells you kind of a percent that you got for that round. And as you should know by now, a 98, 99% card counter is a losing player. So here you can practice until you are a 100% card counter over and over again before you risk your hard-earned money at the casino. Blackjack Apprenticeship also has a forums page where you can ask questions. You can kind of see what the pros have been saying and what they've learned throughout their career. And hopefully you can learn from their mistakes as well. Another useful part about BJA is Casino 411. This is a must to check out before you go on any kind of blackjack trip, as it tells you the conditions of every single table at almost every casino there is that you're about to play on your trip. All right, so for example, if I was going to go to Las Vegas, a lot of players make that trip. You can see just exactly what those conditions are there at any one casino or multiple casinos, and that way you know before you step in the door exactly what you're playing. This gets updated pretty regularly, so you know it's going to be up to date. All right, and then what I think is maybe the most useful part of the site is the pro betting software. This allows you to plug in your own numbers. For example, let's say you have a $10,000 bankroll and you want your risk of ruin to be under 1%. You can try to play at a table that's maybe a little bit faster. Maybe the dealer's dealing about 150 rounds per hour. You might also decide on like a 1 to 8 bet spread to lower your risk of ruin. As well as to maximize your EV, you're going to maybe want to wong in and out at a true 1. So all these bets will be 0. This will lower your risk of ruin to about 0.81% and still keep your EV to just below $30 an hour. There is also a variance visualizer, which allows you to see kind of what a random perfect card counter's results will look like based off of those certain numbers and a certain amount of hours played. All right, you can do this for one card counter or up to 9 different card counters to see what the best and worst outcomes might be. Right now, full disclosure, if you want to purchase a membership, I have recently become an affiliate with Blackjack Apprenticeship. So if you use the link in the pinned comment below, I will get a small kickback from them. However, before you dismiss this idea, because yes, I can see that the price is not cheap, I would also argue that if you want to take card counting seriously, you can't afford not to have a Blackjack Apprenticeship membership. Like I mentioned earlier, a 98 or 99% accurate card counter is a losing card counter. This is a proven program to sharpen your skills, to prove to yourself that you can become perfect with practice. All right, if you decide that you want to try this on your own, you might just be throwing your money down the drain. All right, this is a small fee compared to what you can and should expect to win if you become a perfect card counter and you put in the time and effort needed to be perfect. Again, use the link in the pinned comment below and take your skills to the next level. If you like these Tip Tuesday videos, please hit the thumbs up for me as well. That really helps me out. And until next time, this is A1 Blackjack.